Everybody. I'm really proud to say that the bulk of the audience is my preschool team, which is absolutely great. Thank you for coming. I know you all believe this is a high-pressure situation. It's not necessarily, no offense, because of you all. It's because everything I say is what they do. So if I don't get this right, I will hear from them. So thank you guys for coming. Welcome board members, Pat, Dr. Mingle, audience members, thank you so much. Typically for this night, when Mount Horeb hosts, I love to have 5, 10, 15 students dressed to the nines presenting to you all. And that is wonderful. But I'm just as excited to spend about 8.5, perhaps 9.25 minutes with you talking about preschool. Because we are the only building in the district that houses preschool, proudly. And I worry that not enough press is given to this entity. From preschool, we're going to move into the Special Education Committee because members of our preschool team founded that committee. And from that committee came a video which has had a profound impact on, I'd like to believe, every student in our building. So it's a little bit of a path, starting with preschool. Here we go. Just kidding. That's not a very good start. It's totally frozen. Some cute pictures. Again, I mentioned we're the only school in town that has preschool. I want to start off with our philosophy, which can be found on our website. Forgive me, I'd like to read it to you. We believe that all learners benefit from inclusive education and can grow and be successful when challenged and supported. We offer an integrated preschool program where our preschoolers are provided continuous opportunities to learn and develop through play, exploration, investigations, and intentional teaching. I'll get into detail about that as we move along. We are made up of 57 students, soon to be 58 students, if I'm not mistaken, from all over the district. This represents, that's wrong, it's 25%, thankfully not 33%, bad math. It is a half-day program with an AM and PM session. We have a lottery system is used for our general education students, but thankfully we've not had to utilize a wait list as of late, so everyone that has applied has gotten in. They are tuition-paying families. Those that have special needs, have an IEP, come in free of charge. It's made up of 4 teachers in 3 classrooms, and the 3 classrooms are right down here to the right. Down the A wing. All 3 classrooms open up to the playground. It's a nice little preschool spot. We have 1 co-teaching classroom that is simply 2 teachers, and then 2 single teacher classrooms. We have 8 of the finest paraprofessionals you'll ever meet that support everything that is done in preschool. So what makes us special? I'll start with our paras, because truthfully, without the 8 of them, we'd be vastly different and not half as good as we are. We have 8 superhuman paraprofessionals, each with a Marvel Comics-esque skill set for working with all types of kids, well-versed in all methods to support our children and teachers, endless wells of patience, and a great knowledge of how best to encourage our littlest students. To quote the teachers, we have the best highly skilled veteran professionals on the planet working with us, hence the gold star. On any given day, they can be seen supporting instruction, changing a diaper, preparing for a lesson, taking data with an iPad, because there are over 2,000 pieces of data that have to be collected every single marking period on our students related to 54 objectives. We'll go through all those later. Cleaning up after a lesson, or just hugging a kid, or smiling with a kid, or wiping tears, or taking the coat off, or whatever the case may be, the paras do it all. Their names are listed below, a few are in the back. Sylvia, Leslie, Lisa, Shelley, Natalie, Kate, Mary, and Marianne. They do it all, they do it well, they do it every day. There they are. Or seated on the floor playing Duck, Duck, Goose, right, Mrs. Gabala? What else makes us special? Certainly our teachers. We have Mrs. Keller, Mrs. Kierstead, and Miss Middleton and Mrs. Yankowitz. They are, of course, the co-teaching pair up there. Combined experience of 70 years of teaching. They are magicians. every single day. As I mentioned, there are 54 objectives and multiple thousands of pieces of data, plus a creative curriculum which they have to support, instructional ideas and models, creativity, how to get the kids engaged, multiple centers that the kids are working in. It is truly amazing to watch. They help all levels of learner grow. We have kids between the ages of 3 and 5 and every single ability level out there. Gross motor, small group, large group, and individualized instruction. They make a very safe place for our students, and they make magic happen every single day. We wouldn't be as strong as we are without our related services professionals. We have Nicole Runfola on the left, a speech therapist devoted entirely to preschool. Yes, thank you. Entirely to preschool. And Michelle Barbagallo, superwoman, on the right, who's an occupational therapist. Sadly shared between us and Central, but her home is here. They provide 35 hours of direct services per 6-day cycle, both in and outside of the classroom. This gets back to the word integrated and inclusive. We integrate these services into the classroom. Why? Because if a child is learning some articulation lessons, there's no better place to learn them, in some cases, than in the classroom using the speech and language that they might use with their teachers. So it's relevant and authentic, and it's happening in the moment. Other children, for other needs, may need to be pulled out, and we have the freedom to do both. That's both for OT and for speech. What else makes us special? Well, our students, certainly. They represent all corners of the district. They arrive each day prepared, eager to learn. They're a diverse population of students. We have a fully inclusive program with 40% of the students having IEPs and 60% general education. That fluctuates certainly back and forth. But what's nice is when you walk into a classroom, you may not know who the students who are gifted versus the students with special needs. You may not know who they are. It's fully integrated and fully inclusive. It's really kind of a neat thing to watch. Everyone learns from everyone else. And that's the model that our paras, related services, and teachers support. Just some more pictures of the fun and the mess. Mrs. Barbagallo presented today at our faculty meeting with the bulk of our preschool team and noted just that she says to the parents, your kids will come home a mess because preschool is messy and chaotic, and it's a beautiful thing. As mentioned earlier, we do subscribe to the creative curriculum. It's a research-backed comprehensive program basically centered on the notion that we will follow the kids and teach them where they are. If they gravitate towards this center, then we'll teach them a lesson on X, Y, or Z in that center. It's very much less, okay, boys and girls, let's sit down and have this lesson. While we do that, we have a large group moment and small group moments. It's typically centered around the notion of exploration and relevant information that pertains to that moment. It is a state-approved curriculum aligned with the New Jersey Preschool Teaching and Learning Standards. Provides support and challenge for all types of learners. And there's my quote here of the number of pieces of data that we collect. We have the Teaching Strategies Gold Assessment System, which helps us identify all categories of pieces of data that we should collect on a child to document every single child's growth, marking period over marking period. It tallies to be about 2,700 pieces of data within 54 objectives. How do you take data? You watch a few children working together in a center. You video record a couple of kids doing something with your iPad and later on note what each of them did in that moment, what skills they were proving that they could do. It is an arduous task, and within 2.5 hours in their AM or PM sessions, they have to incorporate the data collection as well as the instructional piece. Creative curriculum also has a very similar concept that we have, and that is teaching the whole child, which I don't need to teach any of you about, but it very much is centered on this notion that children are growing in every which way, especially in preschool, and we care a little bit less about the heavy academics in preschool and far more about teaching them what I would call the foundational skills, how to learn in preschool. As I mentioned, we're going to morph now from the preschool discussion to, truthfully, it was Nicole Runfola and Deb Yankowitz who founded the Special Education Committee. It is now ballooned It is now ballooned, I think this is up to date, to this many members from the building who have gravitated to the organization and idea and concept from Nicole and Deb. It's wonderful. Their purpose in this building is to raise awareness on topics related to special education. Some of the topics we've talked about and will talk about: dyslexia, ADHD, Down syndrome, and autism. They've provided PD to our staff. It's ongoing. It's wonderful. There's a very famous video that helps a bunch, it's old, 80s. It helps a bunch of, it's a principal or a superintendent presenting to a handful of parents and teachers, trying to help them understand what it's like to have a disability. It is mind-blowing. I encourage you to watch it. We watched that as part of our introduction to the SEC, and I think every one of us was better for having seen it. As an example, dyslexia was one of the concepts discussed because, of course, at the elementary level, this is a common discussion, giving us lots of research, lots of data, predictors of reading success in kindergarten, comprehension interventions, what types of assistive technology may help with these various types of abilities or disabilities. Michelle shared some OT quick fixes for dysgraphia, dyslexia, and dyscalculia, because teachers need something that you can hear, hold on to, and apply tomorrow. And that's exactly what they present to us. Lastly, out of this group, then came the notion that we need to share some of this with our staff and our students. We need to help them be differently more sensitive to the fact that everyone learns in a different way, and it's all a beautiful thing. So the teachers put themselves out there, and we made this video called "It Happened to Me," with the simple notion that each of us, adults in the building that you students see on a daily basis, have our story. We've been there, whether it was feeling badly in math class or having a friend bully us, or in any which way just feel like in a slump. So we made this video. If time allows, I'd love to show you a few minutes of it. Are we okay, Dr. Mink, with time? Okay. Am I going too long? Okay. I'll show just a couple of minutes, okay?
Students to be successful learners
while being really smart and athletic in school stuff.
I learned people will remember you most for being friendly and kind.
In 4th grade, I didn't know how to tell time on an analog clock.
Now I teach 1st graders how to tell time.
I had to read things several times because I didn't understand what I was reading.
And now I'm a reading teacher helping students understand the books they read.
I always worried people wouldn't like me.
Now I learn to respect myself first.
I was in ESL in elementary school.
Now I do all my work in English.
And understand why students struggle.
I was teased because...
I hope you understand the point of that and understood the gravity of that. It goes on for quite a while, and I'm on a time crunch here. So that's our presentation for tonight. I thank you for listening, and I just want to say again, thank you to our preschool staff for just being amazing. So.